just over 7 years since the Grenfell Tower disaster in West London, when a fire which burned for 60 hours killed 72 people. The cladding, which had been added to make the building warmer and drier, had turned it into a fire trap. Well, tomorrow, the public inquiry's final report into the blaze will be published, and Tom Simons has been hearing from 3 people whose lives have forever been changed by the tragedy.
For a long time, those screams really did haunt me. I felt helpless. There was nothing really I could do.
It is only through being brave enough and honest enough to look at our failings that we can grow.
There's not closure to the whole situation, and there's still an awful lot of people stuck as a result of what happened at Grenfell Tower.
Many lives have been lost and scarred by this tragedy, and its still unfolding consequences.
Every major milestone in my life, I try and make sure that I come here to pay my respects to the people.
Physics student Tiago Alves didn't hesitate the night his dad said,
"Get ready, we need to leave. I think there's a fire in the building."
It likely saved his life. He watched helpless as the fire destroyed the tower and killed many of his friends and neighbours.
What I actually want from this report is truth written down on a page, something that we can point to and say, this is what the truth is, this is what happened, and these are the companies or entities responsible for what happened that night.
I could feel my wrists and my neck burning. I checked the temperature and it was 550 degrees Celsius.
Firefighter Ricky Nuttall and dozens of his colleagues battled the heat and smoke in the building's only staircase, but too late to save many.
What felt like a failure is 72 people not surviving that fire. That's what felt like a failure, and that failure extends past our actions on the night. It extends to the refurbishment companies and everything else that we're going to hear about in the inquiry.
But Grenfell's legacy doesn't end here. In Sheffield, Jenny Garrett's stuck with a flat she can't sell and massive service charges to pay for fire precautions, because after Grenfell, her building was also found to be dangerous.
Comparatively to other people, I'm one of the lucky ones. I'm one of the people that's actually got remediation happening. We don't know how long it's going to take. Everything keeps getting extended, but there are so many people across the country that don't even have an assessment for their building.
It's hard to think of a disaster in British history which has highlighted so many points of failure. More than anything, Grenfell's legacy will be the lessons it will teach us. Tom Simons, BBC News, at Grenfell Tower.
And Tom is with me. Big day tomorrow. 7 years on. What are we likely to learn?
Well, Clive, it helps if you imagine Grenfell as a chain of failure. We know this from inquiry evidence, years of inquiry evidence. It starts with the governments, Labour and Conservatives, who've known for some decades that the flammable cladding used on that building was dangerous. There have been test reports, there have been other fires, there have been reports by MPs, but it was never banned. One of the reasons, which I think the inquiry will almost certainly look at, is the decision in the 2010s to get rid of red tape, to get rid of really restrictions on business, which may have made it harder to bring in fire restrictions. Then there are the manufacturers that made the materials put on that building, in particular Arconic, which made the cladding. It too knew there were problems with its products, but it didn't really tell the UK industry. The question there, I think, will be what link is there between that and the use of that cladding at Grenfell. There are the companies that did the work at Grenfell. How competent were they? And then there's the fire service, which didn't have a plan to evacuate a building despite the fact that it had lost control of this fire. If it had, I think many more people would have survived. Now, the survivors and the bereaved will get answers tomorrow. What they won't get is justice, because the police have decided to wait until this inquiry to prosecute or to plan prosecutions. That's not going to happen for another 18 months. And that's nearly 10 years after Grenfell.
Indeed. All right, Tom, I know you're going to be reporting extensively on this tomorrow. Tom Simons.